Topic three, addressing high utility cost in Maryland. Um, I'm Natalie, uh, by Natalie, Kai, Maria, Ibrahim, and Alex Jiao. Okay.
So the first part of it was like a background of utility bills. So basically, they're detailed lists of charges for essential services such as gas and water. There's two parts to utility bills. There's distribution services, which are basically the cost of infrastructure. So like pipelines, power lines, and these are there, and it's like a constant cost regardless of how much power you actually use or like how much water or gas. And then commodity portions are the actual supply charge. So this does change based on your usage. So if you use like more gas, you'll have a higher portion for that bill. If you use less, it'll be less. The main three types of charges that we saw were gas, electricity, and water. So gas is for, heating and cooking. The average cost per month in Maryland is $80. This was as of last year. Electricity, that's our power usage, of course, and that's our average energy bill in Maryland is actually quite high. It's 17% higher than the national average. And then last but not least, we have water, which is including both usage and sewer charges. And the average water bill in Maryland was $50.
So recently, a lot of Maryland homeowners have been noticing increases in their utility bills. So for example, BGE bills, which is Baltimore Gas and Electric, the default for most homes in Maryland, their bills are up from about 60 cents per therm in 2020 to 90 cents per therm in 2025, which is a huge increase when you compare it to other things like salaries or inflation. And so we took a look at the reasons for this massive increase, and one of them is that the actual price of natural gas, so the commodity price increased due to higher demands. So this is related to data centers, which use a lot of energy. This is related to extreme weather, which causes more energy going to heating and cooling during extreme winters or extreme summers. And then, so this bumped up the actual price of the natural gas. But then when you look at each household, they're also spending more on heating and cooling themselves. So that's causing another increase in their utility bills due to extreme weather. And then another pretty big part of this utility bill increase was the BGE distribution costs. So this is related to their infrastructure, and BGE has recently done renovations on their infrastructure, which was then passed on to the consumer. So the distribution costs increased by 50% for gas and 30% for electricity since 2020. And then the final piece of this is the PJM interconnection. So they're a group that manages the electricity grid for a bunch of different states, including Maryland, Virginia, Delaware, etc. And you can see they paid $14.7 billion this year for their energy auction compared to only 2.2 billion last year, which is a huge increase. And this is also related to increased demand projections and also delays in connecting renewable energy sources to the power grid. So not all of the energy produced by solar panels and wind can actually go to houses because they need to be stored first, but they don't have enough capacity to store all of that energy just yet, which is resulting in um, higher prices for the consumer.
So other states in the PJM connection have noticed higher electricity bills, such as Virginia and Pennsylvania, and have developed solutions to solving the higher costs of energy. So in Virginia, homes are being retrofitted. So that means that they're being modified to reduce energy demand and costs. And examples of this include adding insulation and updating appliances. They also have a demand response program. So the DRP pays facilities to reduce energy usage during high periods of stress and high periods of cost. And so so instead of like producing more energy, this program reduces the amount of energy consumed when demand outpaces supply. And in Pennsylvania, the governor, Josh Shapiro, negotiated with BJM to reduce energy costs from $500 per megawatt day to 329 megawatts per day. And so this helped to greatly reduce costs for Pennsylvania and all members of the PJM. So yeah, Maryland could, in response to high energy costs, retrofit buildings to lower energy demand, reduce usage during high periods of stress, and just also settle with PJM. Are there any questions?
I think Maryland has similar program as the energy, like BG has the energy efficient day. Like if you agree with the reserve energy, you got a lower rate. I think that's something we have something similar. So retrofitting, I think we are doing something like that as well, paying customer to increase their energy efficiency, like appliances and others. But for the negotiation with the PJM, that's a great idea, right? But I don't know whether we can do that or not. It's actually a great saving for customers. So the other point I want to think about, like utilities is a monopoly. Is that possible, for example, say, or the company, can they really say, can we lawmakers ask them to limit their profit margin? For example, every year you can at most make 10% profit or 6% profit, taking over or expensive. Then any extra profit, you should share with your customer because your customer pay for it, right? That's another way to go. I think that will be creative, and definitely PG will not like it, but I think customer will like it. That's something maybe you can think about. Any other questions, recommendations?
I have a question to Natalie. You just said in Pennsylvania that the governor negotiated with PGM to get lower rates. What's the number in Maryland? Do you know?
I don't know, but I do know that for Pennsylvanians, the cost, the average utility bill decreased around $116. Uh,
So just curious, are we getting the same price or there's a price
No, every
discrimination?
state is different. Every state's price is different. So,
Um,
oh,
we probably need to do the negotiation too.
yeah, that's what I'm feeling. I need to really check out what Pennsylvania is doing. By the way, actually, during 2025 legislative session, and Maryland generously passed a budget which give a $80 rebate to every family for really enduring this high electricity cost. I think just a little bit of comfort to help the family. And I support that initiative too. So just want to highlight that. Okay. Any other questions?